Yo, yo, it's ODB, our lifestyle podcast, and this is issue 58 of Mini Truckin Magazine, October 9/6. What an awesome year for trucks, cover trucks, and features in general. Shaun Carlson, rest in peace, shot this one. He has a couple more under his belt, including one of the most epic, iconic trucks / covers ever. We'll get to that one soon. This is probably my least favorite cover truck of the year just because of the style of it, although I know why they did it. You can see right there, Battle of the Imports race action. I actually think the cover's pretty cool, what Shaun Carlson and the team cooked up. You got the mountains in the background. It's at the speedway. Very cool wheels. Again, this style may not be, or this truck may not be your particular style, but I do think it's a cool cover. You can see there the chick standing. Got Mini Truckin banner across the windshield, and of course you got a lot of product placement. This truck, is featured in here, so we'll take a look. But again, not to take away from, what Shaun Carlson put together here and what the magazine put out. I think in retrospect it's very cool. But like I mentioned earlier in this year's flip throughs for 9/6, there's a lot of epic trucks, and this is probably one of my least favorite ones from a truck perspective because, again, just the style. Not hating whatsoever, though. So you got Soundstream, and who remembers those, the little remotes they had? I had a Soundstream reference amp, one of the first amps I ever had that was new. I had pretty much all Soundstream stuff, and I think a lot of that had to do with the advertising. So you see here a hopping Mazda Middletown Action, basically table of contents. You got about 6 features in this one. Some good technical stuff, a lot of technical stuff in this one. And then on the cover, you see Shaun Carlson and the lovely Julie Wenzel. And that was, you'll see here, they actually mentioned, ironically enough, it was July of 96 when the cover was shot. I think it was July 12th or 16th or something like that. You'll see that here in the feature, which is odd because, that stuff, it's almost impossible to figure out the specific day. Here's Colorado Custom Ad for a cover shoot unless someone took behind the scene photos and they had a camera, a date. That's the easiest way. And of course, if it was shot at said show, then we can kind of figure that out. So you see here the editorial from Mike Shartists. You see that kind of an outtake photo. Actually, that's a pretty cool photo right there in the speedway. I actually like that. And again, it's just really not my favorite truck, but certainly when you get to that section of the magazine, like, you'll certainly understand why. That truck actually has a lot of money in it. This is Basic Instinct. So Toyota pickup. Photography, Mike Slade. We saw that name a lot in the magazine. And going back, you see the little, what I call jump seats. But pretty cool stuff here. You see, although it's not a walkthrough, on the inside of the back cab, you have the cutout. You've got like the rubber grommet, looks like there, or the rubber seal around there. And then you've got access to the fuse holder and the amps. Pretty cool stuff. You've got kind of that iconic little squiggle mark. We set trends, others can only hope to follow. Wonder what that was, just like a little nod, or was it just a in general comment? Here you see pretty cool stuff. The seat's laid back because it is an XtraCab. You got the TV in there, dude. TV. And you've got the reverse, or the same shot there, but black and white, kind of talking about the Nissan 300ZX. That was a big thing that people did, swapping out seats. Maybe they had a bench and they wanted buckets, and it just was like a mod that people did. They swapped to different seats. And ironically enough, the Mazda 9.0 that I have has Civic seats, I believe, is what Randy from NC Florida, I had texted him some photos, and he goes, hey, those are Civic seats. I think you should try to get the Mazda seats. And it's funny now how that stuff goes, where we prefer the factory parts over maybe something that was modded. So we'll see if I decide to change that up. But epic era. Thanks to everyone that continues to come back here and check it out. Check out these flip throughs. Here's No Sympathy 96. Anyone attend this or know someone that did? Don't see a lot about it. No Sympathy was a club. I think we'll see their logo in a little bit. And how cool was that? I always liked that font that they had on there. And you see Modern Image. Robert, I think, owned Modern Image. His name slipped my mind the last time Modern Image came up, but we've had him on thanks to Ruben Arteaga, the Booka. This is how show shirts were for a long time, like that kind of illustrations or artwork. Here you can see big stereo, big engines, clean blazer, Isuzu. Here is the ground pound. And I always say ground pound. I think it's ground bound. I don't know why that's stuck in my head, but I think that is a B. This is a famous truck that does become featured. It gets put away for a long time and repurchased. Basically debuts done, I think it was at in blue at Showfest 2010. And gets shot for the cover of Street Trucks. There's a pretty cool story behind that one. Maybe we can tell that in the future. Here is Forever Low, super clean hard body. A BladeRunner. Love the wheels, love the stance, Phantom grille. Those Toyota front bumpers that we saw so often. Killer stereo with that whole V shape. And good times. Is that speakers in the headrest? Or is that just the way the mesh is? Dude, Mike needs to get some speakers in his headrest in the Mazda. Banana hammock. Speaking of Mike, if you listen to this week's podcast episode, we did have a couple of guests. It was our week off. Kind of feel like Clerks, man. I can't believe I'm working. It's my day off. For those Clerk fans out there, Clerks 3 is coming. But Mike mentioned that he's going up to Southern Tradition. Man, I really like that show. I hope everyone has a good time at it. I'm going to be working away here in the hot sun, trying to take care of the wiring in my shop. We thought we were done. And again, I'll tell that story in the future in a video here on YouTube. Here you can, again, see these copies were just like mint. Because they literally have the subscribe cards in some of them. Wear your allegiance. Ask Mike if he wants to get a rope hat. He knows he wants it. Here's a weed whacker. Ad. Pretty cool stuff. And then Reds. We recently saw the nod to Reds. And there's a pretty cool ad with a famous truck. Drippin and Droopin. Photography, Mike Shartists and Shaun Carlson. And you can see, like, as the features kind of grew, they added more photos, you know, insert photos here and there. You got the CD player, crazy box, right? Full walkthrough, but the box at top extends forward in between the seats. Hydros, batteries, amps for days. Paint reminiscent of that era. Those wheels dough. The Neeper. Concept Neepers. Concept Neeper. Here was a type of photo layout that you'd see a lot of times like in the skateboard magazines when they were doing tricks and they went click, 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 click. You know, here was like up, down, you know, all the way through the different cycles. Here you've got, dude, pimping the CD changer underneath where the head unit was at. Pretty cool stuff there. Man, I still remember loading up CD changers. My buddy Russ had one in his dually. And, man, when we'd go to shows, we'd put in, like, you know, all the Cypress Hill albums we had or Ludacris. And it was kind of cool, man, because you just hit play. You could shuffle. I don't know that they all did shuffle, like if they shuffled one album. But pretty cool stuff. Midwest Truck Nats, so super clean Yoda tilt bed with wires. Really clean. Blazer, I don't think these two-door Blazer, new school Blazers get enough love. Of course, killer wheels, guessing Billet Specialties. The Ranger, the full size, or no, actually another Ranger. And the Dakota, killer S10, real clean. Check out the speakers there. I mean, that's a pretty cool concept how when the truck, when it was down, the speakers would be, I guess, maybe a full walkthrough technically, or it's cut through a little bit. Really clean. Here you see a van laid out. Pretty damn low, even if it's got ground effects. And Isuzu, all kinds of good stuff. Off all fours, the Sidekick. Lots of detail. You know, this is the kind of show coverage I loved because it was showcasing some badass rides, but a real good mix. This truck I remember seeing a ton online in those late 90s, early 2000s. You know, I told you guys I'd go all over these different websites, and this truck I think is still around. I always loved it because I had a 9.4. I think this might have been a 94, but this was the Sonoma, so it had the different grille. And I remember when it had some airbag stickers on the back when it was first bagged and laid out. I think I posted that one time and people chimed in and said it was still around. This truck we got a chance to see at Mini Nats, the long bed S10. Oh man, this truck, something about it just does it for me. I think because it's long bed, it's so low. Really nice polished wheels on it. And you can see, dude, this Blazer right here. I remember seeing this. I like that it has the painted bumpers. It's topless. This Mazda. I mean, this era, man, I think Mini Truck had just got out of hand. Like, we all got crazy with wanting to do this and do that, but it is so awesome to see it coming full circle, man. I mean, all of this stuff here, I mean, it's bringing back memories. Like, although I have this collection, I'm kind of also doing this to make sure I can go back through everything. Because, you know, you don't typically, you know, you might pull an issue here and there and look. Another lifetime member of the Mini Truckin family. And you can see there the way they typed it with no space. I'm always, wait, is it space or no space? I've been called out on that before on things. Seriously, people will be like, I'm all about corrections, but sometimes like people take it. I throw it out there. I make typos, guys, even though I try hard. Here is the layout. And you can see here it was actually July 12th, 1996 at Los Angeles County Raceway. So that gives us the intel on where it was shot, the day it was shot. And that's so important to me, you know, when you think of the history of things, because that's where the information comes from. You know, a lot of these records and these photos are gone. I've heard stories of when they moved and just the slides and the film and all that stuff was just thrown out. So unless you had behind the scenes photos or something here that Mike Shartists had mentioned, and of course they knew, like, if they were specifically going to this event, they're talking about in Palmdale, California, Battle of the Imports. And of course they talk about the tech editor Shaun Carlson performing overtime duties, the 96 Hombre. And it says R96 Hombre. That's what, if I believe, I'm pretty certain that this was the one that we saw in the tech articles naturally. But just to call out here before I jump ahead, you can see like this thing's got some oomph into it, right? Full roll cage, NOS. And that engine, I think, was the same engine, that was in my S10. That thing just was good to go. And, you know, part of it was they wanted to appeal and be able to sell, 2.4 liter engine, 4 Fogger NOS system adding. So, like, it was a way to say, hey, listen, you could take this platform, this 4-cylinder, and you can build it. Check that out. Holy crap. But, man, my 4-cylinder, I drove my truck, even bagged and bodied everywhere. Never thought once about having any kind of issue. And of course, you know, that thing got rebuilt and blown apart, and Jimmy rebuilt it, and it's just an awesome truck. But I do have a lot of memories. I was thinking about it today. I took my son to lunch, and when we were pulling out of this new sandwich shop place, I said to myself, man, I remember laying my truck out right there, walking in this Kmart, which it's not a Kmart anymore. So I'm going to stop yapping for a minute and focus on this. Slam Session 96. Does anyone remember this show? Couple things. You'll see badass stereo, some old school trucks. I just showed Toyota hopping. That Tweed though, man, I dig this stuff. And check out this. Shout out to Johnny Garage Johnson, man. Look at that, dude. That's straight fire right there for you. Johnny Garage Johnson, man, has done a great job, not only on his YouTube channel, but just getting mini truckers together. Hardcore Garage. Shout out. This is Mike Barcia. Mike doesn't even live that far from here. And this is his Isuzu that Francis C. Butler shot. Wonder if Mike has any behind-the-scenes photos of this. You know, Mike has been doing the mini truck thing a long time. This truck, you can see there, was a purple haze you see on the floor mat. Him and Scott would go back and forth a lot in the state. You can see all the detail that they had with the pinstriping on the chassis, chrome this, chrome that. This truck was getting rebuilt. And it was built a couple times, if I remember correctly, like 2 main times. And it was getting rebuilt. See me glow. Teddy's Hot Rods was rebuilding it, and there was a lot of time and money invested in it. And I think like around that time, he got the dually. I still remember his dually that he has now when it was black. I was telling him, I think at Eastbound Get Down, and you can see here about all the imports. This is the actual show coverage. There's that same photo we saw earlier. But I was telling Mike, I think at Eastbound Get Down, Mike Barcia that is, that I still remember when he first got his dually, he had an extended cab dually that my friend Matt had bagged. That was his tow rig, and somehow I think the story I had heard that he traded the extended cab for a crew cab. The crew cab was black. I don't know if it was bagged when he got it, but he went on to bag it, and I remember seeing him and Chuck cruise in that dually just when it was bagged in the early days. And then, of course, it went on. It got done. It got featured in Tailgate. Then he rebuilt it. And when No Compromise came out, that's the truck. That's the owner of that Isuzu at that time, which that Isuzu, I believe, has since been sold, or he was trying to sell it. So here's a cover we just saw. There's that famous V-shaped box. The cool kid reading the magazines. And that's the Wired. And you can see here, buy MTX for that month. Riding around. Try to go through these a little bit here, just because we're getting into, you know, people kind of commenting saying, hey, that was my truck, or I know that dude. Art of Noise. You can see that on the back logo. This is the kind of stuff I always like seeing, you know, the stuff that really could have been a feature, but for whatever reason, you know, they were just enthusiasts, they hadn't been shot, you know, that type of thing, and they sent their stuff in. Lots of tech we saw in this one. Import Showoff. So this mentions here, there weren't a lot of mini trucks there. This one, super clean. And you can see over here, another mini. Of course, they're going to run the minis in the magazine. Look how clean this is. Those colors, perfect. And there's the truck, right? Image Dynamics, New World Order. Love those colors. Totally dig them. That camper shell is a little bit different. It's got the antenna on the back. Look, they got me saying camper shell. I mean topper. So Dad's Dream, shot by Mike Slade. This is how interiors were for the longest time. there's still a Ford Ranger that a kid that I went to high school with around this era, like we're talking, it's probably a late 80s, and it still rides around Land O'Lakes. I mean, it's not lowered. I think it has like an aftermarket wheel on it still. The back is actually jacked up a little bit, a hair. And it still rides around. I still see it. I remember the kid's name, Tony, that had it in like high school, and it's crazy to me to think that a little 4-cylinder pickup is just cruising around still the streets of Land O'Lakes. I don't think it's ever left this area. There's also a No Regrets member that lives in Land O'Lakes. I don't know if I mentioned it in the past, but I got to get with him. We chop it up at shows. Kirk, cool dude. He's got a Ford Ranger. He's real deal. It's crazy to see people post Land O'Lakes. And that's where I grew up. You see Ideal here. And the different dates. You could spend all day going through all these dates. And, you know, some of these were kind of smaller shows, local stuff that maybe didn't happen every year. But still pretty cool. If you need to figure out dates, you can. Here you got a, I wanted to say a space cab at first, but maybe a Toyota. Badass hardbody. Getting down to the end of this one. Built for speed. And this was probably, yeah, the tech article on the Isuzu. Here you see Down to Earth. Badass truck. Super low. Love the display. Notable quotables. What's in the CD changer? The Score Fuji's. Top 5 reasons to eat like a pig. And the famous Pro Hopper ad. I used to stare at this truck going, dude, if my truck was just that low, I'd be good. Even has the trim, I think, on the corner of the bumper is still there. And then you can see the slots in there. That's where the trim was taken off. And, of course, the tag says addicted. Dope. Ad. Terminal velocity. Issue 57 of Mini Truckin Magazine. The Oklahoma Lowdown Showdown. So we'll zoom in here and wrap this up here in just a minute. Love being able to record these and share this with everyone. Plus, you can look back and refer if you're ever trying to figure stuff out. You see Charles Armstrong, he was making his rounds back then. Dude's been doing it a long time. That became Time Machine, of course. And then here is a topless Mighty Max, right? Or D50. Astro. Centerline ad. Nopi Nationals. 96. And then Soundstream. Pretty cool ad. Something different. But Shaun Carlson, rest in peace, shot this cover. And like I said, pretty cool cover to me in general. Maybe not my favorite truck. I probably would like it more without the decals and stuff on it. I'm guessing they're all decals. We could have looked back to see who painted the checkered flag. But a model, a single truck. We know the date. And there you have it. October 96. Of course, it was shot, as you said, July 12th. So a little bit of a lead time that you need because the magazines, the way they're produced. Stay on the rise. Check out ourlifestylepodcast.com. I meant to tell you, go to ourlifestylepodcast.com and select products, stickers. And if you want to order stickers, we got a code, just the word stickers with an S, 10% off. And that'll work on all of the stickers. There's a bunch of them out there. Check them out. The sizes, if applicable, are on there for most of them. And we've got a lot of them, 10% off. All right, y'all. Stay on the rise.